there are going to be plenty of opportunities for you to get into the rear mount from side when he starts doing his escapes. Okay, one of the absolute most common forms of escape in all of jiu-jitsu from bottom side control is the knee escape. Okay, so if I'm pinning Giancarlo from the side, one of the best things Giancarlo can do is to get to the underhook position and spin up and start coming into my legs. And if he can get to my legs, he can reverse me and put me down. Okay, so that's a time-honored and highly effective form of escape. It doesn't have to be that he puts me down either. It might be, for example, that Giancarlo comes up to his knees, and then from here he sits, say, for example, to half guard or open guard or what have you. Okay, so it can either come up to his knees and sit to guard, or he can come up to his knees and put me down. He can come up to his knees and stand up if he wants. They're all escapes. Okay? So this forms one of the most high percentage and most commonly seen forms of escape in all of jiu-jitsu whenever you're pinning someone from a cross side. Whenever someone goes to employ this escape, inevitably they must expose their back to you to some degree. And the question, of course, will always be, how does he manage that back exposure? That will depend on his skill level. And it will also depend on your skill level to force back exposure. So if we're here, across side, and I see my opponent get an underhook, if Giancarlo is smart, when he comes up here, he will minimize back exposure by securing my leg. So that even though his back is exposed to me, I can't take advantage of it because he's got a lock around my leg. And then he can just put me down, and now I'm in bottom position. So he exposed his back, but he made it manageable by getting to my leg. Another way he can do it is to get up to his knees, and then from here, as the back exposure starts to become a problem, he just sits to half guard, and now there's no back exposure. His chest is facing me. I can't even see his back at this point. Okay, so you can see what he's doing. He's getting up to his knees, and he's managing the back exposure well, either by grabbing my leg, by sitting to half guard, or by standing up and breaking away from me. So there's no, I saw the back for an instant, but I couldn't take advantage of it. So what I need to do is prolong and extend and amplify that back exposure. And the good news is, there's a simple way to do it. So, from a situation where my training partner comes in, he gets the underhook. Whenever we see this going on, we always want to post on our training partner's head. As he comes up to what he thinks is a good position, my knee goes over his head and blocks the far side of his body. Now I take my elbow on this side and I block the near side of his body, here. As he tries to secure my leg, you're back stepping away from his legs. And as a result, we get back exposure on this side of his body. Now, I don't want to sit down here on the floor. That takes the weight off Giancarlo. I want my hips off the mat like so, and I just back step, and I take short, choppy steps around towards my training partner's hips. As he goes to get up into where the area that I was, we find ourselves in a situation where I can easily get my hook in on my training partner. Now I secure the far wrist, and then we just fall down to the mat. We place our second hook in. If he's locking his legs up tight, so it's hard for me to get the hook in, we use one of our favorite variations of the back mount, where we extend, and we use the extension to get our symmetrical hooks. And as always from here, I'm sure you guessed it by now, we lock in ear to ear, we put tension in our hooks, and when he goes berserk for 3 seconds to go to get out, you'll easily pass that 3-second threshold and score your points. So let's have a look at this again. This is a very, very high percentage way of securing the back in a reactive fashion that you must become strong at. Remember, this is one of the most common forms of escape in all of jiu-jitsu, so you must be able to counter it, and you must be able to exploit it and get to your score. So here we have a talented opponent who does a good job of getting to that underhook. Okay, what I want to do is get this leg from in front of him to behind him. So I stuff the head and bring my knee behind his head. That gives me an ability to turn, my head rises, and my elbow blocks. Okay? As we hit that elbow block, there's nothing left for him to grab. Okay? Now, I take my short, choppy steps towards his hips. As he continues his march up, look how I put my knee right there on his hamstring. So that as he goes up, there'll be exposure, which we can take advantage of to get our hook in. Okay? Now my hands lock in the usual fashion. We pull our man down. He's probably going to try and defend the hook in this intelligent fashion. So I go over his hip, lock my legs, and stretch my opponent out so that I can get my symmetrical hooks in, and we get to our score. Now, a natural question for you to ask is, okay, well, what if my opponent doesn't continue his turn and just flattens out and puts his back on the ground. No problem. You're back in side position. Okay? You didn't lose anything. So, worst case scenario, the guy comes up, gets to his underhook, I step over, I elbow block, and he turns and faces me. Worst case scenario, you're right back in position. And then from here, we know what to do. We go through and get a score by different means. Okay? The main thing is you stay away from those damn legs of his. Okay? The minute he makes contact with your legs, the pin is broken and you are now officially back in your opponent's guard. So by staying away from his legs, you prevent him from any scoring opportunities. Okay? Remember, if I'm here across my opponent's side and he just went full berserk mode on me and threw me over, he doesn't score a dime. Okay? That is not a sweep because I didn't start inside his legs. It's not good, it's not what I wanted, but he didn't score from it. Okay? But if Giancarlo gets a hold of my legs, even as something as small as just a foot, okay, just something like so, and now he berserkers me over, now there's a potential for a score because my leg was tied up inside his legs. Okay? We've got to learn to stay away from those damn legs of his. Okay? At the absolute worst, it prevents him from scoring on us. And at the best, it presents incredibly useful opportunities for you to score on him. So let's have a look at this whole sequence again. We're across our opponent's side. And he does a good job of securing the underhook. So our first thing here is to post the head and open the knee. So as he turns up, we give him space to go into. Then I block the head, move, and I block the hip. So the head is blocked on one side by the knee, and the opposite side of his body, the hip, is blocked by my elbow. Okay, so near side is blocked by my knee, far side is blocked by the elbow. Now, if my opponent continues his turn up, we just take our short choppy steps right up here to his hips. As he goes to get up, we're kneeling on his hamstring. Okay, so as he goes to get up, there's always going to be that opportunity to lock in and get our hooks. Then from here to score, it's just a matter of getting the second hook. So typically he's going to be defending that. We stretch him out, foot goes in, we have to get symmetrical hooks to score, and then there's a 3-second threshold. Okay? If on the other hand, we're here across our training partner's side, and he turns in, and we elbow block, and he turns back to face us, that's going to give us opportunities to score in different ways. And we've seen earlier in the video some fantastic ways to do this. Okay? And as a result, we'll be able to score in other fashions. Okay? So as long as you stay away from those legs, you'll have an opportunity to score, whether it be rear mount or back into the mounted position using some of the methods we looked at earlier in the video.